Okay, many thanks for agreeing to have a brief discussion about the Warwick Symposium. I thought probably the best thing to do is if we briefly introduce ourselves, just quickly your names, and you're all from the Bishop's Tachbrook History Group, I guess. Yes. You're all members of that, so just a quick who you are, if you don't mind.
Jeannette Oubridge.
Okay.
Sheila Smith.
And Kirby.
And Michael Kirby.
Okay, now what did bring you here this weekend? Why did you feel this was an interesting thing to do for you personally, or for you as a history society?
Well, we were invited to come and present how we did our book.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fascinating thing was that we'd no previous experience of it, doing any production like this, and it was an opportunity to come and find out how other people did it.
Okay.
And it was reassuring. We discovered we hadn't made too many mistakes.
Okay.
No.
Well, I was interested to come because you very kindly came and gave us that wonderful talk on parish life, which impressed us all. And I thought we owed it to you, dear. Return the compliment.
Okay.
And I wasn't even in the group when they did this wonderful book. So one, I wanted to find out a bit more about how they'd done it, but also I am interested in local history, so I thought it would be good to see what else was going on in the field.
Great. I mean, I know in your book, and particularly in the DVD, you sought sort of, academic advice. You went to people to get information. So do you think that sort of could be intensified? Do you think there's a scope there for greater interaction between, university historians and local history society like yours, or others in the Warwickshire area or elsewhere? Do you think that's a feasible way to go, or is that as far as we can take it, as it were?
Well, we have been asked by the Warwickshire History Chairman if his aim is to bring all the history books, all the history societies together under one umbrella, so that we can share resources and things.
Okay, good.
We
so
have
there
been
would
invited,
be
but we haven't done it because I don't know.
We haven't discussed it in the
We
committee,
haven't,
really.
have we?
We're on their website.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I've got
So that would be one way, would be a better coordination within the county.
yes, we went to the umbrella meeting,
Yes,
the way you
okay,
talked,
right.
and Jeannette and I went to that.
And I think publication of something like this out to all groups would certainly be a way forward.
How do you mean that publication? So better advertising, or the results of what we talked about, the proceedings? Did you mean we should produce a little
I was
information
thinking more
leaflet,
about, letting people know when something was coming up, which you obviously have done, because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
But also it would be interesting if there is any write-up to have the option of seeing it.
So you would be interested, for instance, in a report on this conference. This would be you would actually want to read that. Would that be something that your group, you think, would actually welcome if we sent that to you? Or?
Yes, that would be nice. I mean, we're here, so yes, we would like to read the report.
Okay.
Yes, to a limited extent. I found some of the talks truthfully weren't
Okay.
in my particular sphere of interest, but different
that's
things
bound to
appeal to different
But also
people.
we've come sort of as a representative of our group, so it would be useful for our group to know what we've come to. They won't want to know the full amount, but it would be. We'll have to presumably report back in some form at some point.
So for instance, general, histories of the parish over a longer term perspective, which some of our people have been doing in the history department for a while, some of the sort of more academic works, is that something that you would actually want to consult, or would it be helpful if perhaps we provided you with some sort of smaller version or some sort of digested version of these things?
I think that the most appropriate feed that we could get would be a slightly smaller version.
Okay.
I don't think that we academically have grown sufficiently mature to handle very detailed information. So I think the information that we could use, by necessity needs to be filtered. It needs to be focused.
So would that, for instance, it be helpful if somebody came and, for instance, in a talk like I did for you, sort of summarised what the state of the field is? Would that be something that you would find
when
helpful?
You say the field, what do you mean?
The field of parish studies, for instance, when we talk, or the field of village studies, because obviously people like Chris Dyer, who was talking to us, is a very experienced village historian. A lot of our Warwick people are very experienced parish historians, and I think we could perhaps sort of try and summarise some of the main conclusions that scholars have come to. So would that be something of interest to you, or would you rather have us talk about the specialisms of our individual research that we're doing?
I think the general one probably. I feel within our membership we've got people that come along because they enjoy the sociability and they enjoy a good speaker.
They come for the entertainment.
Right.
But they're not terribly proactive.
No, they're interested in the village, in hearing about the village history.
Yes.
That's as far as they want to go, isn't it?
But I think they're interested also because we don't just have speakers about our own village. We'll have speakers about other aspects of history. But when it comes to doing something,
yes, I think when you've got a good speaker like you, Beat, and then we had
Dr.
MP
Gillian
who
White
came, who talked about archaeology, and that was very popular. So that wasn't just the village, but it
and Dr. Gillian White, who came and
She
talked
was
to us about
wonderful.
Hardwick and infused us.
Right.
We think we're going to have a second minibus
Good. Excellent,
to
excellent.
go on our trip.
we think you started the trend.
Very good, very good. So if you said you may have future projects, so I mean, would you, in a future project, when you say, maybe something about the church or whatever you happen to do next, would you, welcome some, I don't know, formal academic input, or would you, for instance, take some of the information you've gained today? Would that feed into your work, or would you, as it were, do it exactly the way you've done the previous book project?
We haven't got a project in mind at the moment, but we are beginning to say it's about time we got our teeth into
I
some.
said to
We
Sheila
have.
this morning, we've got an idea. We thought we'd do the church because of the lady who talked about the inside of churches, what to look for and so on. And in my mind, I suddenly saw all the things in the church, not the plaques to people who've gone, but items, objects around the church, like the two fonts and that sort of thing. And the Norman door.
Yes.
Well, for example, I had never noticed, because I don't go to church at that church, I'd never noticed the wall paintings till you know.
Exactly,
That came to me on the DVD. I hadn't
So
hadn't registered. I knew about the
we
mass
thought
clock
that it
and
would be a good way, a good project to talk about. But obviously we haven't gone beyond that.
Mervyn, the previous vicar, did do us a very good talk on the way the church furnishings and that had altered. But it's 2 or 3 years, and at our age we forget. We probably wouldn't remember the next week. I'm joking, of course. We'd take copious notes, wouldn't we?
So if you were to sort of, think about, compared to, what expectations you came with to this occasion, and now you've been at the meeting in any way, would you say anything has changed in your approach to the sort of way to local history? Have you perhaps picked up something interesting in one of the other sessions that you went, or in some of the other papers of your own session? Is there any way in which sort of, that attendance, do you think actively helps a history society, or is it something that is just, you came primarily to talk about your own work?
I think there's still aspects of Tachbrook's history that we haven't touched on. I mean, the manorial documents, it would be interesting to see, to find out anything about the Earl of Warwick's ownership of the manor.
Okay.
And
Even before him.
And before him,
Right.
which when it was probably a manor, isn't it?
Well, a manor is... We've had a house in the village called the manor house, and it never has been, because the Lord of the Manor has never lived in it.
Yes, but the speaker this morning said he didn't necessarily have to live there,
that's right, yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have to live there.
But I'm talking about naming the manor house. You know, it's been called the manor house, and it is. It's the area of land that is the manor.
I'd be interested in knowing more about the environs of the village as well, the farmland and what has developed there.
I think
we didn't do farms, did we?
We realised that was a gap in the
doing more,
project.
So if I go around the little area we're sitting here and ask you all to say one thing that you would take away from today, what would it be? Michael? One thing that you think, you know...
I think what I would take away is in fact, the depth of research that the contributors did. When they speak, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's obvious that the amount that is done in order to present that 20 minutes represents a very considerable effort.
Okay, good. Anne? Putting you on the spot there.
Yes, you have, rather. Yes, I agree with Michael. Can I be critical?
Absolutely.
I think we wasted a lot of time trying to get the DVD set
working,
up because it's a different system, and I didn't tried it before, but it was in the other room and it was different again. I think it needs somebody on hand on these occasions to just make sure, because I think several people had the same problem. And I think speakers should preferably use PowerPoints, because this business of going onto websites and going from one thing to another is terribly tedious to watch. Whereas if they copied the pictures and put them onto a PowerPoint, like you did, I mean, that's a dream, isn't it?
Good. No, we're also here to learn what we can improve on about the next occasion.
I know that's difficult, because if a speaker says this is what I'm going to do.
Exactly. I mean, we have to give them a certain,
attitude.
Some people are more comfortable with this. Sheila, what would you say?
I was just so impressed by the sheer amount of knowledge that people who were so knowledgeable in their own field. Because I'm not a career historian, and I found it amazing the amount of people who were there, who were very knowledgeable about their own subject, who were able to communicate to other people. I thought it was wonderful.
Did you find them approachable? Did you find you could talk to everybody? Okay. Good.
Yes, sociable.
Okay.
The whole atmosphere was very affable.
Okay, good. So you didn't feel intimidated in any way? Okay,
but the
good.
people you mentioned are professionals, that's their work.
Yes, but we're not, and it could be intimidating for us.
Yes,
and it wasn't.
Yes, but I didn't feel they were professional speakers.
Some of them weren't. I mean, we had a very broad panorama of people.
I listened to one speaker and I couldn't understand the word from beginning to end because she talked so quickly and she. It was.
And there was another speaker too who wasn't using the microphone. He was talking at his screen, and I couldn't hear him.
Okay, good.
Their little
and the pictures that they have, you couldn't see them.
Some of them were small.
You couldn't see the illustration of what he was talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can tell who's used to doing presentations and who isn't. Obviously.
And the only way
to include a course on your presentation.
But the only way to improve is to actually try it out, isn't it? And then next time
Is this the first time you've done something like this?
It's the first time we've had it such in an open forum. We were trying to encourage greater exchange, and this is the first time we've had really literally people from all these different backgrounds. It was previously just an academic conference. So that's why we're sort of interested to hear what people thought.
I think now we've done it, we would be prepared to do it again.
Okay.
I mean, it was a bit frightening of the unknown.
I imagine, absolutely. So.
I mean, I was a teacher, but it's different.
Yes, absolutely.
You're in charge then, aren't you?
Okay, so thank you very much for both coming and for having a little informal chat at the end.